Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Monday. We're back for the weekend with 2.5 hours of sports talk here on the Sports Voice of Kansas. 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and on our streaming video channels, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube and WIBW News on Facebook. However, wherever, whenever you're tuned into the program today, thanks so much for being a part of 580 Sports Talk. My name is Dan Lucero. I am back from a bit of an extended weekend for yours truly. Great to be back with you. Spencer Dupuis will be along in the 4 o'clock hour. He survived the raucous atmosphere of Hoglund Ballpark this weekend. He was there to see it as the Kansas Jayhawks advanced to the NCAA Super Regionals, sweeping their way through the Lawrence Regional, and might just get to host a Super. Everybody watching the action in Atlanta, Georgia Tech and Oklahoma. It was 3-2 Oklahoma in the third when I turned the game off to get to the studio. We'll definitely keep track of that as we go. And have plenty more to talk about with regards to the Jayhawks' dream season on the diamond continuing. Spencer Dupuis, as I mentioned, will be in the 4 o'clock hour. Brendan Dworzinski is off today. 2.5 hours of sports talk today. We're off at 5:30. The Royals are in Cincinnati to open a 4-game series against the Reds at Great American Ballpark. Pre-game coverage at 5:30 ahead of tonight's first pitch at 6:10. Cincinnati's Chase Burns opposes Kansas City's Luinder Avila in the starting pitching matchup. The Royals season's over. You didn't need my permission to tell you that. Many of you have been saying the same, beating the same drum, really for the last couple of weeks. But you can accuse me of being late. You can ridicule me for being late to the conclusion if you want. That's fine. I'd rather be right and late than wrong and early. But there is no other conclusion to draw after this team has now lost 16 of their last 19 games, including a sweep in Texas over the weekend. These guys are donezo. And frankly, it's time to make a change in the dugout. And you guys know that's not a conclusion I arrive at lightly, but the status quo is not going to do it, and injuries are not nearly enough of an excuse as to why this season has gotten so far away from the Kansas City Royals. Time to think about doing something else in the big chair in that Royals clubhouse. We'll get into that. We'll also talk, again, the happy baseball news from the weekend, although I guess happy, if relative, happy if you live in Lawrence or of the Jayhawk persuasion. KU's going to a super regional 3-0 at the Lawrence Regional, beat Arkansas twice, including 13-10 in the 6th game of the regional last night. There would be no need for a game 7 today as KU punches their ticket to the next round, the final 16, if you will, 2 wins away from a trip to Omaha and the College World Series. And boy, that would be an incredible sight, wouldn't it? KU fans making that trip, not a far one, making that trip up north to whatever they're calling the ballpark these days. I genuinely don't remember. I think it was TD Ameritrade Park for a while. Now I think it's Charles Schwab Field. It was so much simpler when it just stayed. Stadiums just had the same name forever. Wasn't it? Wasn't that just easier? Anyway, here I go dating myself again. We'll talk some college baseball. Again, Spencer Dupuis was there covering for us, had details on our 580 Sports Talk X account, stories up on 580WIBW.com. We'll get his in-person reactions and impressions from a rowdy weekend at the Hog and what comes next for KU baseball. That is coming up on the show as well. And a salute to our Shawnee County State champions. The high school sports season is over, coming to an end on Saturday with the state championships in soccer and baseball and softball and track all concluding on Saturday. And it was a great weekend, a great week, a great spring season for Shawnee County athletes. We're going to go ahead, give them the love they deserve coming up later on in the program today. Our guest on the program today, bottom of this 3 o'clock hour, Matt Quatraro of Sports Illustrated, SI.com, our NFL insider. And what a day to have Matt on. We were all expecting an NFL trade today. I don't know that we were expecting the one that we got. Myles Garrett is a Los Angeles Ram. The Rams are all in for 2026 and then some, sending star pass rusher Jared Verse. And I say star because he is. Jared Verse is real good. Know who he ain't? Myles Garrett. And now the Rams have him. And all it costs the Rams, Verse, a first-round pick, a second-rounder, and a third-rounder heading to Cleveland as the Rams acquire the two-time Defensive Player of the Year and the future Hall of Famer. We'll get Matt Verderam's opinion on that, as well as his lingering thoughts from Chiefs OTAs. And who knows, maybe that A.J. Brown trade we all thought was going to go down today actually goes down today. It sounds like that's imminent. That could go down while we're talking to Matt. So we'll get all of Matt Verderam's thoughts on this first day of June. He'll join us, as he always does on Monday, on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. And even though we are a half an hour short today, that doesn't mean we don't have time for all our typical Monday shenanigans. We've got our 580 Sports Talk headlines, lots to get to there. New wet round, a new week, a new month of what is wrong with you, the good, bad, ugly from the weekend as well, all coming up. You are, as always, invited and encouraged to be a part of 580 Sports Talk. Make your voice heard. One way to do that, via the text line, 785-272-9429. That is 785-272-9429 is the number. You can also get at us in the live chat on our YouTube channel. We are streaming live on YouTube, 580 Sports Talk, as we do every day. We enter today 22 subscribers shy of 1,000. Guys, better get us there. Are there two heroes out there today to get us to a nice round 980? I bet there are. Go slam that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything but a click or a tap of your screen over on YouTube, 580 Sports Talk. And when you check out the show, hop in that live chat during the live broadcast. Leave a comment. Say hello. Interact with your fellow listeners and your hosts as the show goes on. Again, the name of the YouTube channel is 580 Sports Talk. Good to see everybody today after I took a couple of days off. Mark H. is in the chat. See Paul, see Christopher, see Ryan. Let's see. Vance is in the chat today. Great to see you. As always, look forward to hearing from you and from those on the text line as well here on 580 Sports Talk. We're going to talk about fun stuff, I promise. We're going to talk about the fun things happening on the baseball diamond. Baseball can be fun. Baseball is not fun for the Kansas City Royals, and it has not been fun for quite a long time. Those brief spasms of hope from that homestand at the beginning of May, back-to-back wins over Cleveland, back-to-back wins over Detroit. Remember those? Remember those back-to-back wins over the Tigers? Remember that Friday night Kyle Isbell walk-off winner? Gosh, feels like ages ago, doesn't it? It may as well be, for all intents and purposes, in this baseball season. Since the game after that Kyle Isbell walk-off, the Saturday win by the Royals over the Tigers, the Royals are 3-16. 3-16. They were swept in Arlington by the Texas Rangers over the weekend. They were drubbed on Friday. They blew it on Saturday. Lucas Erceg, I'm going to start calling him. I know they're giving out the lights out Lucas Erceg bobblehead. I'm going to start calling Lucas Erceg Motel 6 because he's leaving the light on for everybody. He is Motel 6, Lucas Erceg, as far as I'm concerned. He blew another one, entirely predictable that was coming, and he blew it on Saturday. Then on Sunday, the Royals got jumped early. Michael Wacha gave up 4 in the first, and the Royals never recovered in a 6-3 loss. I don't need to give a detailed recap. I don't need to be any more damning to the Royals than to just say this factual statement. Royals got their ass kicked by Nicky Lopez this weekend. Okay? That's what happened. Royals got beat up by Nicky Lopez. Royals cast off, who's kicked around 5 different teams since the Royals got rid of him in 2023. He has 8 big league home runs in his career. 2 of the 3 he has hit since leaving Kansas City have come against the Royals, including a home run in Friday night's 9-1 beatdown. I actually watched that one. That was on local TV. I was in Oklahoma City for the weekend. That game was on local TV there in Oklahoma City from the Rangers broadcast. So I actually got to watch that one. Not like didn't enjoy it, but I did get to see it. That's really all that needs to be said about the weekend that just transpired for the Royals, is that the bullpen continues to be hot, stinky trash, and Nicky Lopez kicked their butts. Nicky Lopez kicked the Royals' butts. And so it is that the Royals stand 22-37, only not in dead last in the American League and the American League Central by the grace of the Detroit Tigers, who are maybe the only team having less fun right now than the Royals are. A sampling of teams that have fewer wins than the Kansas City Royals. Here's the list of teams that have fewer wins than the Royals. Did you catch it? Did you catch the list? There aren't any. The Rockies have 22 wins. The Tigers have 22 wins. The Wobegon Angels, who the Royals swept at the end of April. Remember that? That was a fun time. The Angels have 23 wins. Boston's already fired a manager. They got 25 wins. Minnesota ain't trying to win this year. They got 27 wins. Houston started miserably. They've got 27 wins. The Giants, managed by a college coach in way over his head, 23 wins. The Marlins, the least serious pro franchise in sports, possibly, by some definitions, 26 wins. The Royals are 22-37. And the fat lady, well, she's singing. She's been singing. She's been warming up. Because this season, for all intents and purposes, it's over with. And we haven't even played a game in June, folks. And I don't like saying that. I don't want to say that. It brings me no joy to say that. But this lifeless, punchless, identityless, hopeless baseball team is already at a point where they are playing out the string on this, the first day of June. And it's never, when it goes this wrong, you know, one thing, like the Rockies are 22-38. You know how that feels in Colorado? Not so bad, because when they had 22 wins last year, they already had 74 losses. Sometimes 22 wins on June 1st is a step in the right direction. Sometimes 22 wins are the wages of being a rebuilding team. It's not the Kansas City Royals. This is a team that entered the year maybe not as co-favorites in the Central, but a lot of people not wearing Royals-colored glasses thought this Royals team could make the playoffs, could win the Central Division. And if they weren't being picked to win the division, they were probably being picked to finish second. At the very least, be in the mix in the divisional race throughout the season. That wasn't just us talking. That wasn't just local homer optimism talking. That was back-to-back seasons of winning baseball talking. But now this season is this, and there's never just one reason or one scapegoat for a season gone so wrong. Injuries have certainly played a part. Michael Garcia is not in the starting lineup tonight for a second straight day after he got hurt on Saturday. It's a hamstring. They haven't put him on the IL yet. They're hoping to avoid it, but if he does go on the injured list, that would be 4 guys who have represented the Royals in the All-Star game in the last 2 seasons, last 2 winning seasons, who would then be currently on the injured list. He would join Cole Reagans and Chris Bubich and Carlos Estevez. And a 5th All-Star from the last 2 seasons, though not one with the Royals, Matt Strahm was a 2024 All-Star with the Phillies, just got back from the injured list. So yes, injuries have played a role in this season becoming what it has become. Underperformance is mostly on the individual players. Feels good to point the finger at a hitting coach and say, you're the reason why Vinny Pasquantino still isn't hitting. You're the reason why Father Time is catching up with Salvador Perez. You're the reason that there are only 2 above-average hitters on the active roster at present, and one of them might not be on the active roster much longer if, indeed, Michael Garcia goes on the injured list. And that's before you even get to the bullpen, which... You talk about every single roll of the dice in the bullpen this year coming up snake eyes. I don't know. There's no way that's only one person's fault. That would be nice, be convenient. But every member of the Royals bullpen, save Daniel Lynch, having a 10th or 20th percentile outcome season, hard to blame that on just one guy. There are not any buttons that you can push that are going to get you out of this. There's no rearranging of the bullpen roles. There's no promoting somebody from AAA. There's no juggling the lineup that is going to dig you out of this hole that you are in if you are the Kansas City Royals. They're done. They're toast. But a stretch where they lose 16 out of 19, and against teams, with due respect, that should not be so readily dominating the Royals the way that they have. It's one thing to get swept by the Yankees. Yankees are really good. Yankees sweep you, tip your cap, charge it to the game. Yankees are the best team in the American League. Sorry, Rays, I'm still not buying it. But to get rolled by the White Sox, to get punked by the Rangers, these are not teams that have World Series aspirations. These are teams, if anything, that came into the season with similar or less hopes than the Royals. And to be so thoroughly dominated by those teams is not acceptable. And it is further evidence of what we have seen now over the last 3 years, 2 years and change, really, is that this is a group that rides high when things go well and has no ability whatsoever to pull itself out when things spiral. That's where you want to see dugout leadership step in, and it has not. It has not. And not only that, when one player bucks back against a manager or a policy or a strategy, that's one thing. That can just be one guy frustrated. When Salvador Perez went on social media to complain about getting his mental breather back in April, that was one thing. It was out of character, certainly, or at least what we know to be Salvador Perez's character. It was very much against anything we'd ever seen from him. But he downplayed it. He said he and Matt Quatraro were good, and things moved on. And then there was Seth Lugo griping about how often the Royals use their challenges in the new ABS system. Remember that? He had a bad start and was kind of griping about that. And then Bailey Falter, no longer a Royal, but made sure to get a shot in on his way out the door about how uncomfortable he felt, about how he didn't feel like he had a defined role. He didn't feel like he could be the best version of himself because his role wasn't being communicated to him very clearly. Now, on one hand, dog, you're Bailey Falter. You're just not very good. It doesn't matter what your role is. You're not going to succeed in it because you don't throw strikes, and the ones you throw get pelted. But when that's 3 examples in 2 months of a player essentially publicly questioning dugout leadership, publicly questioning communication from on high, that to me is where you start to get into the realm of this cannot continue. Firing Matt Quatraro is not going to save this season. It isn't. It's not. They could fire him right now, right this second, and they could exhume Casey Stengel or Connie Mack or Earl Weaver or Sparky Anderson, whomever, and install them as the manager. Too late. It's too late to turn this ship around. There's not enough talent. There's more talent than this, but there is not enough talent to recover this season. It is too far gone. But firing Matt Quatraro now would give the Royals a chance to try some different things under an interim the rest of the season and give the team a chance to find out if a different direction, or at the very least, a different kind of leadership can salvage the core of players that you hoped would deliver you contention in the Central for years to come. That was the idea, right? The end of Salvy's prime, the start of Bobby Witt Jr.'s, Michael Garcia, Vinny Pasquantino, the ascension of Jack Caglione, a pitching staff fronted by Cole Reagans. Like, that was the vision, right? And this core, they're all still there. But right now, this is going in such a wrong direction that it's easy to see Cleveland racing out ahead, Detroit having a terrible year, and they're probably going to trade Tarek Skubal for a haul in about a month or 2 months' time, and they've got a much better farm system than the Royals. And now Chicago appears to be a serious team moving in the right direction. They got to get their pitching right. Like, they're not going to be, I think, in it for the long haul, because outside of Davis Martin, their pitching just isn't very good yet. But they at least have something that the Royals cannot claim to have, and that is an identity. The White Sox play a certain way because they have an identity, and the Royals have no identity. No idea what they want to be. No idea how to go win. That was the whole thing. The day I left, I didn't get a chance to talk about this, was the day I went on my vacation. They had put up a sign in the clubhouse, the last day of the homestand, and the sign says, "Be ready to effing win." How? How are you going to do it? Do you know? This team doesn't know. Be ready to win like it's something that happens to you. Go win. Go figure out a way to win. This team can't do it because this team doesn't know how. And the buck stops in the manager's chair. And not just there, because this year is veering towards being the kind of failure for the Royals that might force John Sherman, the owner, to reevaluate everything about the operation of the baseball organization that he owns. And while I understand it's an easy joke, it's an easy way to score some internet points to say that John Sherman got the only thing he really wanted out of owning the team when they announced those ballpark plans for downtown, I'm not entirely sure that's true. I don't get the impression that John Sherman is Bob Nutting, who owns the Pirates, or Dick Monfort, who owns the Rockies, or the consortium in charge of the Marlins. I don't get the sense that he is like them. I also don't think he's George Steinbrenner. But being somewhere in between, that would lead any owner to some real soul-searching, watching a team go from back-to-back winning seasons to whatever the hell this is. We don't really know, right? We can only guess. We can only guess at what John Sherman's motivations are in the long haul. But I know one thing. If he's watching every day, he's got to know it can't keep being this. And it's too late to fix 2026, but it's not too late to get a better feel for whether or not 2027, 2028, further and onward are going to be able to bear you any winning fruit. And the way you can maybe start to get some different ideas, a different direction, and a different kind of leadership to really suss out if this core can find an identity, can figure out how to be ready to go effing win, got to fire Matt Quatraro. You got to do it. We'll take a timeout. Want your reaction? 785-272-9429 is the text line number. Also want to hear from you in the live chat on YouTube, 580 Sports Talk. We'll talk some football with Matt Verderam coming up in about 10 minutes. Our NFL Insider, big day of the NFL with the Myles Garrett trade. We'll catch up with our NFL Insider on that. Plenty to discuss from KU's regional victory in baseball and a salute to our Shawnee County State champions. It's all coming up. We're glad you're here on this Monday on 580 Sports Talk. 3:31 on 580 Sports Talk. Thanks for being with us. Just getting started on this Monday. Matt Verderam going to join us here shortly. That A.J. Brown trade did happen, by the way. While I was monologuing to start the show, the A.J. Brown trade was reported by Adam Schefter and others. So 2 blockbuster deals on the first day of June in the NFL to discuss with Matt Verderam. A.J. Brown going to, as expected, the New England Patriots. Nobody having a lot of fun watching the Royals right now. Paul in the YouTube chat says watching Patrick Mahomes tear up his knee was more fun than the 2026 Royals. Got a texter from the 785 asking if the Royals could be relegated. Maybe they could win a Little League World Series. Yeah, man, that's kind of where this thing stands. And you can't say that injuries haven't played a role, because they have. But I also do not think, if you're J.J. Piccolo, hell, if you're John Sherman, if you're J.J. Piccolo's boss, you can't look at this roster assembled and say, yeah, it's all the injuries. It's just nothing but injuries being the reason. Because they were 22-36 when Michael Garcia hurt his hamstring. Reagan's has missed, 4 starts? Bubic has missed 3, I think. Obviously not ideal to not have those guys. The Estevez injury, that was a canary in the coal mine injury. That was a problem. And the fact that the Royals felt like they had to have him out there throwing 89-mile-an-hour nothing balls in the first save situation of the year, which, who knows? That could be the last time we see Estevez on a big league mound this year if he doesn't get his shoulder right. Certainly the last time it's going to mean anything. But the fact that they had to have him in the closer role, even though he had nothing, obviously nothing, that should have been a sign that the rest of that bullpen was not ready for prime time. Should have been a sign. And none of those guys. It's amazing. Usually you've got 2 or 3 guys that pitch well out of the bullpen for you. Right now, it is nobody. It is Daniel Lynch, and that is it. Lucas Erstad can't be trusted with a lead of any size. John Schreiber you can't trust. You can't get lefties out. Doesn't strike anybody out. Nick Mears is hurt. Matt Strahm just got off the IL. Alec Lane can't throw a strike to save his life. So, yeah, it's all bad. It's all bad, none of it good. Christopher on the argument to fire Matt Quatraro in the live chat on YouTube says at least firing Quatraro could send a message to the players that it should have been you. Yeah, sometimes you fire a manager, like when the Red Sox fired Alex Cora, that was that was meant as a signal, right? That was the kind of thing you do when you're trying to send a message to your players. Hey, you're better than this. Time to wake it up. Time to get back going in the right direction. I think a firing of Quatraro at this point probably serves a similar purpose, though, again, I think it's too late to matter. I think at this point, if you're firing Matt Quatraro, which I do, I think the Royals have probably arrived at a point where they need to do that because there's no turning this ship around. And if it doesn't turn around, are you going to bring him back next year? Why? Why would you? And when you hear players, even ones the caliber of Bailey Falter, who are saying, look, I don't feel like my role is being very well communicated to me. Like, if you've got the top of the roster, your captain, and the bottom of your roster, a guy who's not even on it anymore, Bailey Falter, and they're all saying, essentially, without saying directly, there is a communication gap in this clubhouse. You got to listen to that. You got to take that seriously. At this point, if it happens once, stuff happens. Sometimes things don't get communicated clearly. But if it keeps happening, 3 times in 2 months, you got a player talking about, I don't like how we're doing this. I don't feel like this is being communicated very well. I don't need a mental breather. That's a problem with leadership. And that's the problem. You need to fix that problem because it is a failure of leadership to have let this season go this poorly, this fast. And you've just got to change the voice at some point. And I think the Royals have arrived there. Appreciate the comments. We appreciate those of you tuned in today here on 580 Sports Talk. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, Matt Verderam, NFL insider, a big day in the National Football League. Matt's here to react to it all with us. Coming up next on 580 Sports Talk. We are joined on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline by our NFL insider, Matt Quatraro, who covers the league for Sports Illustrated and SI.com. Also appears on That Football Show on the KC Sports Network and has his own Patreon you can subscribe to. The Matt Quatraro Show. You can catch him every Monday at this time here on 580 Sports Talk. And a seismic Monday in the NFL. Matt, Myles Garrett is a Los Angeles Ram. How far out of left field did Les Snead come with this move today?
Somewhat far. The funny thing is a lot of people have felt like with Garrett that at some point Cleveland is going to get an offer that they just couldn't refuse. And some team was going to say to them, hey, look, you guys are so far away. You need the picks, and we are willing to pay a premium for the player. Now, the Rams paid what I would consider a significant premium for Myles Garrett. And not saying not rightfully so, but I mean, they paid a huge price. Like, you're paying a first, a second, a third. I understand it's over 3 years, but it's 3 premium picks, obviously a first rounder included. And on top of that, gave up Jared Verse, who I would argue on his own merit is probably worth a first round pick. I mean, he is on a rookie deal. He's a defensive rookie of the year. He is somebody who I think many people believe in this league can become an all-pro player. It's certainly not. It's certainly a Pro Bowl or nothing else. So they gave up a fortune, but they get the best defensive player in the world. And so this is a Rams team that just went to the NFC title game that added Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, and Myles Garrett to their defense. I mean, that is about as all in as it gets.
I actually think Cleveland came out pretty well in this trade, all things considered. Does this feel like kind of a win-win for you, Matt? Because I do. I think that instead of getting 2 firsts, which kind of would have been the starting point, to get a first and a player the caliber of Jared Verse, in addition to a second and a third round pick, which those values might go up if those are non-Matthew Stafford Rams teams, because those are future picks. I actually think Cleveland came out pretty well, or as well as you can when you're trading a generational future Hall of Famer.
Look, the only way Cleveland screws this up is if Cleveland didn't trade him at some point and just sat there and did the Joe Thomas thing where they just kept him forever, 1-0, and then walked out of it and went, hey, well, it was great that he was there for the whole career, but, we're terrible. They got a very good player who, if they play their cards right, will be there when they are finally relevant. They have a treasure trove of draft picks. I mean, this is, and to be fair to the Browns, it's easy. It's in vogue to just kind of, dump all over them. The Browns had a really good draft class last year. Really good. Carson Schlesinger was a defensive rookie of the year. He was awesome. Quishon Judkins could play. Harold Fannin at 700 yards as a rookie tight end. They drafted really well. I think a lot of people this year felt like they drafted very well. The big thing with the Browns is going to be that they have to find a quarterback. With all due respect to Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson, well, no due respect to Deshaun Watson, but Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders, they are not long-term answers. I mean, unless Sanders is just wildly improved from what we saw a year ago, the Browns have to find that guy. And now they've got additional capital to go get that guy, what everyone thinks is going to be generational class next year quarterback. So, yeah, look, if you're the Rams, you're the clear Super Bowl favorite. And if you're the Browns, you have loaded yourself up for the future, which is what you should be doing with their current situation.
You just led me into my next question. The Rams are, you go look any sports book, if that's your thing, you go look at the Super Bowl odds. The Rams now are fairly clear of the field. I looked at FanDuel before we went on the air today, just to get one field, one number, and the Rams are plus 550, and the next best odds are plus 1,000. Do you think that is a fair assessment? How far clear is this Rams roster of the rest of the field? Acknowledging that any given Sunday, anything can happen.
Sure,
how strong of a favorite do you feel like the Rams are entering 2026?
Strong. I think those numbers are accurate. Now, I will say this, and you just alluded to it. This is not a best of 7. This is a best of 1. And in the NFL, the margins are just razor thin. There are going to be teams that come Christmas, come New Year's, we're looking at the NFC going, yeah, they could beat the Rams. They will have a shot to beat. And look, the Rams are not infallible. Puka Nacua has had a tumultuous offseason. Matthew Stafford has a back that at any given point could unfortunately go. He is 38 years old. Devontae Adams is not a spring chicken. Okay, this is a team, their offensive line has questions. The Rams are not a team you just go, oh my goodness, there is absolutely no way they could lose. They could. I mean, look, we all know it's quarterback league. Stafford goes down, they could go 6-11. The Chiefs found that out the hard way a year ago. Like, you can have that. Okay, and if they get to the Super Bowl and they play Josh Allen or a rejuvenated Mahomes in Kansas City, or I think they could lose to them. But the Rams on paper right now, they're the best team. Now, I will say this is an all-in year. They have a ton of free agents after this year. Stafford will be 39. Like, this is, you can't be more all-in than they are this year. Like, this is a make or break, and they're hosting the Super Bowl. I mean, everything is lined up for them. If they don't win it this year, it's going to be an extraordinarily bitter pill to swallow, and somewhat of a reset's going to be coming after it.
Matt Quatraro is our guest, our NFL insider who covers the league for Sports Illustrated, SI.com, joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline here on 580 Sports Talk. That was not the NFL trade we expected would go down on this first day of June. The one we did expect has gone down, at least been reported within the last hour, that the A.J. Brown saga is over. He is, in fact, on his way to New England for a first-round draft pick in 2028 and a fifth-round pick in 2027. Right. How do you think the Eagles made out in this move as far as the compensation they get for Brown? First off, from the Eagles' perspective.
Honestly, and I don't say this often about a Howie Roseman trade, so maybe I should know better and just stay quiet, but I don't love it for Philly. No, I'll say this. I will say this. I think that they had to move off of him. It just was not going to work out anymore. So from that standpoint, okay, a player who was somewhat untenable in the building, you got a first for, like, you should be happy with that. It's not even next year's first. It's a first in 2028. So a lot of people in the league would say that's really like if you got this year's second round pick. It's okay, but it's a weird trade because I could argue the same thing for New England. Like New England's getting a star receiver for Drake May, and that's great. The reality is, I actually wrote about this a week ago at SI. Like, he is still a very, very talented player. He's 29 years old. He could have a monster year. He also had the worst year he's ever had in Philadelphia by a mile last season. He did not play to his standard. We could talk about Kevin Patullo, talk about Jalen Hurts, a lot of things. The fact of the case is he did not play anywhere near his standard here. Now, he bounces back, and he's awesome. Great. I just wonder how much better really is New England. Like, you got rid of Diggs, you added Brown. You're out. I mean, they basically traded Diggs a first and a fifth for A.J. Brown. Like, and yes, Romeo Dobbs is doing stuff. I look at Dobbs more as a secondary playmaker. Like, are they appreciably better? I don't know. Maybe, kind of. Like, I feel like A.J. Brown going to Buffalo or Baltimore or Kansas City or Houston would have been like a much bigger impact. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe New England will prove me wrong and they'll be awesome this year.
Best case scenario for New England, they get the best possible version of what a 29-year-old A.J. Brown is capable of. How much does that elevate Drake May and that offense, which we watched all year, and we weren't maybe at times 100% sold? Is this really a good offense, or are they just beating up on tomato cans? Then they were really good down the stretch, and then they weren't any good in the playoffs and couldn't do anything against Denver in the snow or Seattle in the Super Bowl. How much could he elevate New England's offense if he is back to pre-2025 form?
Well, listen, I mean, if he goes out and he has 1,400 yards, which I think is probably his ceiling, it's a great ceiling. I mean, you're talking about an all-pro level player, second-team all-pro, something like that. Yeah, I mean, then all of a sudden New England is right back challenging Buffalo for the division, and, they're in that mix. And the AFC, look, the AFC is a weird conference this year because I could sit here and tell you, I don't know, there are 6 teams that could go to the Super Bowl. And all 6 of them, I could also make the case, don't even make the playoffs. Like, you could even argue 8 teams. Like, I could sit there and make the case for and against New England, Buffalo, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Houston, Jacksonville, Denver, Kansas City. Like, I could sit there and make a very compelling case for all those teams to win 12, 13 games. I could also make the case they all go 9-8, 8-9. Like, it's a weird conference. If you get the best of Brown, yeah. I mean, it maybe staves off some of that regression everybody, including myself, frankly, is expecting. But you're going to need the best. Because if he goes out and has 1,000 yards, then you're kind of looking at it going, okay, yeah, well, he's basically just big, but now we're at a first-round pick. And we have Dobbs, but he's not a game changer. He's a good player, but he's not a game-changing player.
A couple more questions for Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated, our NFL insider here on 580 Sports Talk, joining us as he does every Monday at this time. The New York Giants added a bunch of wide receivers today, including former Chief Juju Smith-Schuster. They also signed Braxton Berrios and Odell Beckham Jr., who hasn't played in 2 years. I know that was an excuse for everybody to post the highlight of that unbelievable one-handed catch he made on Sunday Night Football. That happened before Donald Trump announced he was running for president the first time. Like, that's how long ago that was. Why can't we quit the idea of Odell Beckham Jr.?
I mean, I quit the idea of Odell Beckham Jr. like 5 years ago. So I can't speak for anybody else, but that was actually my response. It's like, what year are we in? What are the Giants? And this is, by the way, like, I'm someone who a month ago was like, yeah, I think the Giants are going to win that division. And then everything happened with Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter, and I watched Malik Neighbors try to run the bases in a softball game. And I'm like, you know what? I'm good, actually. I'm all set. I don't know what's going on there. Like, I don't understand what the thought process is. If your answer in 2026 at receiver is Odell Beckham and Juju Smith-Schuster, it's over. Like that, I mean, that's his old folks home. Like, you're not going to threaten anybody with that. First of all, good luck with both those guys playing 17 games. They may not play 17 games between them. And then on top of that, like Braxton Berrios, really? I mean, that's it. I will say, it is a bizarre receiver market where Diggs is available and Deebo Samuel and Keenan Allen, and like these are the guys getting signed. It's a very weird just group of receivers who are still out there considering who's getting picked up.
For Juju to have signed with the Giants, is there any possible correlation to reports out of Chiefs camp that Jalen Royals actually had a pretty good OTAs?
I don't know. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you, I haven't exactly checked in with people in Kansas City about Jalen Royals and OTAs, but that's not on the top of my priority list. Maybe it ought to be. I think this though, and I mean this sincerely, like if you're a Chiefs fan, it should be a breath of fresh air to you that they didn't just immediately panic move the second Rashee Rice went into the clink and signed Juju for a year. Because reflexively, when I saw the news with Rice a week or two ago, I was like, oh God, here comes Juju on a one-year deal. Like this is what they do. And instead he went and signed with Matt Nagy for 1 year with the Giants. And it was like, wow, the Chiefs didn't just freak out and immediately sign some guy who's over the hill that they know from 18 years ago. That should be the Chiefs. But I will say this, not to make it about the Chiefs, they are in dire need of a receiver. Like they absolutely have to get somebody in that building who can play football who's a receiver.
Matt Verderam covers the National Football League for Sports Illustrated, SI.com. Also appears on That Football Show on the KC Sports Network. Has his own Patreon you can subscribe to as well, the Matt Verderam Show. Matt, we can't let you get out of here, though, before this. I need an NBA Finals prediction. Can the Knicks slow down Wemby and the Spurs?
I genuinely think they're going to win. Yeah, I'm going to take the Knicks in 6. I think the Spurs are terrifying because of Wemby. It's a really weird thing to say about a team that has a guy who's 7'5". I don't think the Spurs have the size to deal with the Knicks. Like, at any other position. Wemby's ridiculous. Like, obviously makes up for a ton of it. The Knicks are bigger and stronger at every other position on the floor. Like, I think the Knicks are just going to absolutely bully them nonstop. But, look, they could lose. Maybe it's the homer in me. I'll take the Knicks in 6.
Hey, the old NBA adage is you have to lose in the playoffs before you can win, and these Spurs haven't really lost as a group. Maybe that's coming because the Knicks done some losing.
The Knicks, in that case, Knicks in 3.
Matt, you're the best. Thanks for your time. We'll do it again next week.
Take care, guys.
That is our NFL insider, Matt Verderam. We'll take a break, come back with the good, bad, and ugly from the weekend that was on 580 Sports Talk. We wrap up this 3 o'clock hour on a Monday the way we always do with the good, the bad, and the ugly from the sports weekend that was. The good, the San Antonio Spurs are going to the NBA Finals, which means the Oklahoma City Thunder are not going to the NBA Finals. And that was a hater's delight, watching those dorks get run in their own building in Game 7. Oh, did I enjoy that. I hadn't watched any playoffs since the first round. I turned on the final minute just so I could watch those dorks lose and watch Wemby celebrate on their home floor. I enjoyed that immensely. Go home, Alex Caruso. Go home, Lou Dort, you goons, you bums. Go home. I might actually watch the finals. I'm actually like intrigued. Ethical basketball won. It's a win for ethical hoops. It's a win for good. It's like the Jedi, shooting down the Death Star in Star Wars. That's kind of what it felt like. My bad. The way Texas Tech coach Jerry Glasgow handled his pitchers in their win in the College World Series last night, rotating Kalen Terry and Nyjah Kennedy in and out willy-nilly. Like, what are you doing? You're going to kill the confidence of both of your stud pitchers. You've got two great ones. Last year, you only had the one. Now you got two, and you're screwing it up anyway. They were very lucky that they won last night. Otherwise, I'm not sure Glasgow would have made it back to Lubbock. And a lot of ugly behavior in college baseball. in the college, that's just like a general rule. Guys taunting and screaming "bleep you" at batters and getting ejected, and a lot of bad behavior in the NCAA regionals. Guys got to take it down like several notches. Like celebrating strikeouts in the third inning like they just won the whole College World Series. Ratchet it back a little bit, guys. Calm down. Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, KU's moving on to the Supers. We're going to talk all about that. Spencer Dupuis was there. We'll get his thoughts and more on the next hour of 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Down number 2 of 580 Sports Talk on this Monday. Thanks so much for being with us on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9, 580WIBW.com, and our streaming video channels, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube, WIBW News on Facebook. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis, until 5:30. Royals baseball. As the road trip continues for the Royals in Cincinnati. Royals and Reds start a 4-game series tonight. Little news about that game. Scheduled Red starter Chase Burns, who's well on his way to the first All-Star game of his career with 7 wins and an ERA under 2, scratched due to illness tonight. So it'll be a bullpen game for the Reds. The Royals will start Luinder Avila, so probably a bullpen game for them as well. Avila threw 60 pitches in relief his last time out. He's not all the way stretched out, so they'll get what length they can from the young right-hander in tonight's game. But that is notable about the Reds lineup, is that Chase Burns has been scratched due to illness. Notable in the Royals lineup, no Michael Garcia for the second straight game. No Salvador Perez, who almost never gets a day off. We'll see if Matt Quatraro calls this a mental breather. And if he does, what Salvador Perez has to say about that. But Carter Jensen is catching. Jack Caglione is in the cleanup spot, DHing tonight for Kansas City. Pregame at 5:30, first pitch at 6:10. Royals have to be relieved. See the calendar flip to June after enduring a miserable May that saw them lose 16 of their last 19 games.
I've got a stat for that. They lost 10 of the 18 games in the month by 2 or less runs.
Yeah, that
sucks.
Yeah, that's not ideal. Like, again, it where it really felt like it turned was you had the blowout losses to the Yankees to wrap up that homestand, and then you had the blowout on Friday night in Texas, and that's the point where it kind of turns from, like, the narrative is no longer, oh, they're right there. Like, you could have held on to that. It was threadbare, but you could have held on to it a little bit, is that this team has not had, and they haven't had, good fortune in one-run games. They have a terrible record, I think now 4-10 in one-run games after Saturday's loss. And that is the kind of thing that typically you'd point to and say, well, that's a trend that has to turn. There's no way it can be that bad all season long. Sometimes it is, but generally it's not. Generally your luck turns in one-run games. You come back toward a little bit of equilibrium on those one-run games. But yeah, after getting poleaxed by the Yankees back-to-back, and then that Friday night drubbing they took at Globe Life Field, I think that the idea that the Royals are a team that, they're just one clutch hit away or one good bullpen outing away. No, they no longer feel very much like that. Yeah, text from the 785. This texter has continued to refer to this season as the John Sherman curse, which, I mean, this is the 4th full year he's been the owner. They've had 2 winning seasons in 3. Did they even have 2 winning seasons under David Glass? Like, in his entire ownership tenure, maybe 3, I guess 03. Was Glass the owner in 03? I think he was. And they had a winning season in 03, obviously 13-4. Okay, 4 winning seasons under Glass in like 4 times as long a tenure, only 4 winning seasons. So, boy, we should all be cursed like John Sherman. The Royals, I don't think the owner is the problem yet. Yeah. We'll see. Like I said at the top of the show, we're going to learn a lot about John Sherman as an owner based on how, if there is a reaction to this season. And now look, a lot of games left. If the Royals end up like having a real great June and July and they finish the season, they go like 76-86, and the Royals at that point decide, well, we don't really need to do a whole lot. We're not going to change our leadership. We're not going to.
Hopefully the guy's last name starts with a Z goes.
You could look at that and you could say, okay, but they better win next year, because then that's 2 years of making excuses that, I mean, there's some merit to them, but this is still not the trajectory we expected this organization to be on. You can't put it all on injuries. If they go like 66-96, This is a 90-loss team, given the expectations that they started this season with. That is the kind of thing that should lead to some wholesale changes, wholesale organizational changes. Not just rethinking, because I think when Sherman took over, the Royals did kind of rethink, okay, how we approach building a team, how we approach minor league development, how we use data, how we use analytics. We're going to actually do it. The Royals were late adopters on that front, and they began doing that. They joined the rest of baseball in how they use those things, which was good. But if the people in charge of the tools aren't using them effectively, then you need to change the people that get to use the tools. At some point, you got to change the craftsmen. So we'll see. We're going to learn a lot about John Sherman. Same texter refers to the Reds as contenders, and I don't mean to pick on you, texter. I appreciate you texting and listening to the program. I appreciate everybody you text the show, 785-272-9429. Unless you try to make programming decisions for me, then I might snip at you a little bit. But from the 785, I appreciate your text, but I would also disagree with the characterization that the Reds are contenders. They've got a negative run differential. They're 30-28 right now, which is last place in their division, which speaks more about the division than it does about them. But they have given up 32 more runs than they have scored. Their pitching staff outside of Chase Burns is not good. They haven't had Hunter Green all year. When they get him back, that's going to help, but haven't had him all year. The rest of their starting pitching staff is very mediocre. They've got a worse team ERA, I'm pretty sure, than the Royals do. The Reds' team ERA is 4.71. The Royals is 4.55. So they got a worse pitching staff by some measure than the Royals do. And their best player just hit the IL. Ellie De La Cruz, their star shortstop. So
that was a little out of left field, that guy saying they were contenders.
I think they're better than the Royals.
Oh, yeah.
But they're going to look like contenders over the next 4 days with or without Ellie De La Cruz. But yeah, I'm not sure the Reds are quite there. I'm not quite there with you on the Reds. I can't get there with the Reds. Their number 3 starter right now is Royal great Brady Singer, and his ERA is over 6. Like, they got some problems on the mound, man. This is a bad pitching staff. Like, there's not much redeemable. It is Chase Burns, who the Royals get to miss tonight. I mean, if he feels better, I bet he goes tomorrow. Like, Andrew Abbott's okay. Doesn't miss bats. Their bullpen is putrid. Like, I don't know. I can't get there with the Reds. Like, I know they were a playoff team last year. I know they got a winning record this year. I can't get there with the Reds. But they're going to look really good over the next 4 days. I'll tell you what, if they've got an opportunity to get right now, the Royals are the team that you get right against, unfortunately. So that's coming up. 5:30 pregame, 6:10 first pitch coming up from Great American Ballpark. Still to come on the program today, a salute to our state champions from Shawnee County, because, boy, there were a lot of them from the weekend. What a great weekend. The final weekend of the high school sports season for the 2025-26 academic and sports year. We'll get to all of that. Still got a lot of headlines to get to, including a playoff roundup. And, again, we're out early at 5:30. Text line is open, 785-272-9429. You can also hop in the live chat on our YouTube channel. 580 Sports Talk is the name of the channel. 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. Baseball can be fun.
Yeah.
It's not real fun for the Royals right now. Has been fun for about the last 3 weeks. But at Hoglund Ballpark in Lawrence, Kansas, baseball was a funky good time for the Kansas Jayhawks over the weekend. They are moving on to the Supers. They go 3-0. They handle Northeastern in their opener on Thursday and beat Arkansas on back-to-back days. 13-10 the final in a rollicking Saturday finale that sees Kansas, the number 15 national seed, moving on to the Super Regionals. And Spencer, you were there to take it all in Friday and Saturday.
Saturday and Sunday,
excuse me. Yes. Vacation days kind of run into each other. So apologies. You were there last night. You were there on Saturday. Describe to me the atmosphere, because there's but so much you can derive from watching on TV. You can certainly surmise every time the camera rattled on a KU home run that the place was rocking. But give me a feel for what that crowd was like, just everything around the way that it sounded, the way that it felt with Kansas hosting its first ever regional?
Yeah, first of all, the drive up, crazy. The line was like around the stadium to get into the backyard, which, I mean, KU couldn't have chose the facilities. They couldn't have chose a better section of the outfield to put that in, because there were probably 6 home runs by KU alone on Saturday and Sunday smashed there. So the fans out there were getting to catch home runs. And I mean, just the line, the enthusiasm from KU, from the KU fans, from the KU students was crazy. There's a little altercation because they put the.
So yeah, I heard about this secondhand. The Arkansas fans and the KU student section were right next to each other.
Yeah, so the KU student section is behind the dugout of the opposing team, which is a thing that kind of happens sometimes, because that's kind of what, like, some high schools do that. Like, some things happen like that. But yes, the allotment of tickets that Arkansas got specifically for their families of their, from what I understand, it was families of players. Was right next to them, and allegedly.
Yeah. What did you see? What can you confirm? Eyewitness reports. Were there beer cans thrown? Were they full? Were they empty? Was it just a beer shower?
I didn't see the act of it happening.
Okay.
But it looks like they got in a little altercation. I mean, they were going back and forth with, every team has, things that you say as a fan,
Yeah, your chants
Arkansas,
or whatever. They do their little spirit fingers and they call the Hogs. Yeah.
It was from the start on Saturday. They were doing they do it right before the game starts. You go out for the anthem, you go up, and then you get a little team huddle, and then everybody goes back in the dugout, and then the players grab their gloves and head out on the field. They do the little
call the Hogs. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was met with boos. So from the start, it was already a little hostile. And I guess there was an altercation of some with beer thrown on to Arkansas fans and parents. And that led to police staging in front of the student section for the rest of the game, and no beer being allowed to be in that section.
So probably the way to go there.
Yeah.
Like, learning experience, first time you do this, right?
Yeah.
So certainly a learning experience that, I don't know, maybe put the students behind the home dugout. I don't think they need to be behind the visitors dugout. I think that's probably, like, I understand, like, for a home field advantage, you like having that, but I don't know that that's that prominent at other locations. Maybe that's something you rethink. Certainly you'd like to have more of a separation between students, especially like this is not like Kansas is not a baseball school, right? Like we can admit that, yes, like on its way. Like Kansas is not traditionally like in the way that Arkansas is, or in the way that like Oklahoma State or these schools that have these long-standing baseball traditions,
even
and
like
as
Coastal Carolina,
and as such a long-standing tradition of what the student section does.
Yeah.
Like you have it, Fog Allen Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
Like you have, forgive me, Brendan, Allen Fieldhouse. Like that, like a student section has at a football game where like these are the things that you do. This is how you can act. And baseball is not like, you don't throw beer at anybody anywhere. I don't care where you're at. But you gotta learn how to act a little bit. It was very clear that, the old saying, act like you've been there before. It was very clear. And I don't mean to all of a sudden veer off into a discussion where I'm tisking a bunch of college kids, but it was very much not an act like you've been there before situation in the KU student section. But
yeah,
I do think that it appropriately ratcheted up the on-field tensions.
Oh, yeah.
And it seemed as though, and again, you can confirm this for us because you were there was a lot of, every half inning was tense in those two games against Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was the tensest moments I've ever watched baseball, ever. Even when my team was in the World Series in the MLB, just like the blows back and forth. And one thing I want to add to that student section thing, because of that on Sunday, on the X platform, KU fans and students alike were not very happy because the administration and the athletics only let like 40 students sit in the student section.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of packing it out, they threw the rest in the backyard. So KU fans not too happy about that because it wasn't as ruckus as it was the night before.
Sure.
But also things you do have consequences. So
right. As for the baseball itself, when you get into this double elimination format, you really want to be the team that goes 2-0.
Yeah.
Going 2-0 is such an advantage because this is just general college baseball as a whole. Nobody has enough pitching. There is not enough good pitching to go around. There are too many programs, not enough kids who know how to pitch because everybody thinks they're going to get drafted. So you got to throw 96 because you're not going to get drafted throwing 84 or 85. And that might be true, but you might not get drafted throwing 96 if you miss your senior year with Tommy John surgery either. So nobody knows how to pitch. Like if you watch some of the guys who have to pitch in the elimination games on Sunday for like the smaller schools, like I was watching Squeeze play on Sunday for a little bit before KU played last night. And I'm watching like Tarleton State, Northern Illinois, some of these schools that are, about to get eliminated and they're just out of arms. And they got guys out there throwing sidearm. They got guys out there with the worst mechanics you've ever seen, just like flinging hope. But even for the big schools, even for a team like Kansas, objectively one of the best teams in America this year, the quality of arms starts to diminish. That's why you always see, like, you look at a 3-game weekend series in the Big 12 and the scores are like 4-2, 7-4, 18-10.
Yeah,
like,
your best guys go on Friday.
Right. You're Friday, and by the time you get to Sunday, you're starting to run out of guys. So 2 things happen. Number one, it gets really, really beneficial if you can be the 2-0 team. So Kansas winning on Saturday was massive. And the other thing that was massive for them was they were able to keep going back to their best bullpen arms, Ryan Ritter and everyday Bodie Ray. And those guys were able to hold the fort, even though it was very clear on Sunday, everyday Bodie Ray was about out of gas. That young man was on the fumes of his fumes trying to get those final 3 outs there in the ninth.
Frankly, I was a little surprised that they didn't try to give Ritter a little bit more. Just because, like, I knew it was going to be tough going in the ninth for a guy that's gone the way that he did, and that's kind of where it was tough in the eighth for him. But the biggest kudos goes to Manning West. He kept them in that ball game in the toughest part of the game.
Yes, because KU had to rally from a 5-0 deficit yesterday and scored 11 unanswered runs. And describe that place, if you will, just the atmosphere in that place when Dykhoff hits the home run to make it 11-5. Like, delirium, right?
Yeah, I mean, KU knew after it went up 6-5 on the jack that went right to the right of the just past the batter's eye and hit over into the right field side. They knew they needed to keep going, and it was like it was one of those things where you're sitting there watching a game and you're like, if they can just keep the line moving. And the line just kept moving.
You do not have enough runs.
Yeah, I never have enough runs, especially in a game like this.
I won't name and shame because I don't think this is a bad take. But you can tell the people who watch a lot of college baseball from the people who are kind of new to this whole like high stakes college baseball thing. Because I did see on X there were a couple of KU reporters when Dykhoff hit that home run, like, well, that ought to do it. Like that's the death blow. It made it 11-5 in the 6th inning. I'm like, I would not be surprised if 11 is not the winning number. It ended up being the winning number. Like, they ended up being right. So that's why I'm not going to, like, shame these people. But, like, you never feel comfortable on Sunday with a lead. Those games are always out of control. And Arkansas did mount a couple of different rallies. They responded. KU scored 2 in the 8th. Arkansas got 2 back in the bottom of the 8th. I just think the rules are so stupid about who gets to be the home team and win. The higher seed, let the higher seed be the home team.
Yeah,
like,
it was so weird.
That should be automatic. The higher seed is the home team.
It was so weird, like reporting on this game, like live on X, and saying like KU was up in the top of the inning.
Right.
Like I had to double check my posts because I'm just so used to saying a home team is in the bottom of the inning.
Text from 785 says, can you take note? Please keep the backyard in place. What was that like? Like what did you observe from the fans that were out there in left field?
It was a lot of fans that just wanted to watch some baseball, right? Like no matter where you sat, you got to watch baseball. And I think what was really cool was after the game of the press conference, Brady Bollinger, he believe he's a left fielder, and he was talking. He was talking a bunch with them.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, that was the coolest thing, was to like hear the fans in my ear, not as I'm running out onto the field.
Sure.
Like literally hear them back me up while I'm out there in left field.
And if you've watched, college baseball at other venues, you see that oftentimes, whether it is a berm or whether it is like a
Florida has something exactly like,
who else does? Arkansas.
Yeah.
Arkansas's got the hog pen out there in left field, and it's a big part of their home field atmosphere. And that's the thing about a place like Hoglund Ballpark has never had atmosphere. Why would it? The Kansas baseball program has never really given it a reason to have an atmosphere, but you can create it, one, creatively with the backyard, but two, obviously, all season long. And you go back to last season, you create it by winning.
Yeah.
You create it by putting a fun team on the field, a team that's embraceable.
You break 4,000 fans twice.
Yeah. For a ballpark that seated, 2,500?
Yeah.
Like with seating capacity is 2,500?
Yeah.
Remarkable stuff. And a huge credit to Kansas that they were able to, because sometimes, when you're a program and you get to do something like that, like, is the moment going to be too big? Right. Are you
UCLA.
going to, are your eyes going to get too big? Yeah, UCLA, number one national seed is out.
Yeah.
They
also have the smallest ballpark in the regional.
Cal Poly won the regional, for goodness sake. But anyway, you wonder when it's a team that hasn't been on that stage. And this is any sport, but you certainly in baseball, you wonder, is the spotlight going to be too big? They got the number 2 seed that everybody knew was going to be a 2 seed and wanted to avoid. That was Arkansas. They got a good 4 seed. Like Northeastern.
It wasn't supposed, like literally, this wasn't supposed to happen. Like everything was stacked against KU.
Yes, like it was not. There was nothing about this that was easy. Yeah. There was nothing about this that anybody could have taken for granted. KU played 3 really good baseball games. They're stars on offense. Tyson LeBlanc, all those guys were stars. The pitching staff held up their end of the bargain.
Tyson LeBlanc, that was in left field.
Yes.
I don't know why I confused.
That's all right. And the bullpen did its job. And this team, this improbable collection of underdogs and JUCO bandits or whatever you want to call them.
They're JUCO outcasts. I mean,
moving on to the super regionals, which is probably going to be in Atlanta. I have bad news from Atlanta this afternoon. It is the 7th inning. Georgia Tech leading Oklahoma 7-3. That series having to go to a game 7 because Oklahoma rallied to beat the number 2 national seed Yellow Jackets last night. And Oklahoma led this game 3-0 after the first inning, but the Yellow Jackets have played it 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 3 in the 6th, and are threatening with 2 out, runners at the corners in the 7th. It looks like it's going to be Georgia Tech, which means we've seen our last, if it does hold, that we will have seen our last action at the Hog for the year. But it's the kind of season and the kind of weekend that makes fans of a program for life. It changes the perception of what is possible for a program, and it changes the perception of how people interact with a program. Because those non-revenue sports, like, you've got to go on a run to get people to really embrace it and really follow it and really care and really invest in that program. And now this team has given a generation of Jayhawks, whether it's current students, whether it's recently graduated alumni, whether it's kids in Lawrence got to go see the game.
There was a lot of kids. So obviously, like, it's a compact area right there next to Allen Fieldhouse. They got a little parking lot. They had a little, I guess, like fan zone where they had food trucks and they had, their concessions pushed outside so you wouldn't be stuck in line in front of the smaller concession stands.
Uh-huh.
But there were kids. So they had press row, obviously, the Hog, not a very big ballpark, so press row for the most part was outside on the top three sections of the, right in front of home plate. And where I was on the end, so I could see out every single time a foul ball was hit. When it was hit directly foul on the first base side, man, we were like a group of 10 kids just with gloves waiting for the balls to come. Like those, and they went over there it went over there 4 or 5 times yesterday. I was like, these kids are fans for life.
Oh yeah. And it's the kind of thing where you leave that weekend. If maybe it was your first time going out, you leave that weekend thinking, man, why don't we do this more often? Like, this is a good time. And this is always here. Like, these games, they play like every other weekend. Why not just make that more of a part of your entertainment diet for kids? Bring in your kids. Like, this is fun. This is fun to see. It changes forever what the perception of Kansas baseball is, even if it does not necessarily mean that this is an annual occurrence, that Kansas hosts a regional, that Kansas is nationally ranked, even if it's not an annual thing like it is at places like LSU or Florida State or Arizona State, places like that. This having happened will change how people interact with Kansas baseball, how people perceive Kansas baseball, and how people enjoy Kansas baseball forever. And that's probably the neatest thing, big picture of all of this.
And I think Travis Goff this weekend tried to rally the troops, right? Like, if you were on social media, you saw, I believe it was the Anderson family, the football complex named after them for their donation. They were matching the $100,000 up to $100,000 that KU fans were putting up. And there's a picture last night that went around from Matt Tate on X, and it was Mr. Anderson and Travis Goff standing right next to each other right at the final out. And could you imagine? Because they're allegedly pitching a $15 million baseball building, indoor building, to be built right beside the bullpen, the home bullpen. And if you build it more, like,
they will come?
Yes, kind of like that. Like I've noticed from my alma mater's baseball program, it has gotten better each of the last couple of years, because guess what? They didn't have an on-campus baseball. They played the freaking YMCA. And now they have an on-campus baseball field. Facilities mean everything in this day.
Everything. Yes, absolutely. And now this is the step to get Kansas on par with its Big 12 brethren in the facilities game. Yeah, it's just so much has changed for Kansas baseball. Whether they go to Atlanta and beat Georgia Tech or not, whether they are at home and get to play Oklahoma, it's 7-3 going to the bottom of the 7th. Sooners are going to rally down by 4 runs. But they did lead off the bottom of the 7th with a double. So not over yet. As you know, if the Sunday game 6s are crazy, because Monday game 7, both teams are out of arms. So it is a total free-for-all. So we'll see how that one goes. That one may go final before we're done here today. And we may know if Kansas is going to be at home or on the road for the Supers next weekend. But just being there at all, incredible gift. Yeah. And just an incredible weekend for Kansas baseball. We'll take a timeout on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, time to start a new week and a new month on What Is Wrong With You. is What Is Wrong With You time on 580 Sports Talk. We begin a new week and a new month of What Is Wrong With You. We crowned our May champion over last week. It was Wade mode, and I think you guys got it right. I have to say that would have been my selection.
So we had,
well.
I don't know if you heard, we had a big
tiebreaker.
diatribe about this, and we asked Greg, and we had the text line going and the chat going. And then I said, I think Dan would approve. I mean, he made all these jokes about Wade mode.
I would hate to not get to revisit all those great Wade mode jokes when December rolls around, and thankfully we'll get to, because Wade mode is our 5th entry as our May champion into December's tournament of failed champions. Let's start the march towards finding our next one. Spencer, why don't you go first with a story submitted by the text line today?
Yeah, I had one, and I was like, saw this, and I was like, you know what? I got to change it to this because this is wild.
Text line, by the way, 785-272-9429. We do take submissions, and some of them we do use on the radio, like this one, Spencer.
We're going to Buffalo Township, Pennsylvania. A PA man is facing charges after he allegedly tried to demolish his house while his family was inside. Police say Eric Pierswaza got in an argument with his wife after he arrived at the house in Buffalo Township last week. His wife told police they were in the process of separating. According to the criminal complaint, he shouted, "If it's over, I'll tear the house down." He then allegedly climbed into the excavator and began demolishing the house while his wife and 2 children were inside, police say. Family was able to get out. They were not hurt. He then drove away before he turned himself in hours later. He faces numerous charges, including causing a catastrophe and reckless endangerment. Police records show his wife planned to file a protection order for him as well. And he's due in court next month.
And no joke here. I hope that she gets it, and I hope that she already has it.
Yeah.
And I hope that it is enforced. And I hope that this man stays very, very far away from her and the children.
Yeah.
Because, like, excavator, like, I will tear this house down. And he got a decent chunk out of the front of the house, man.
He did.
Like, you could, the chimney is exposed, the fireplace on the inside. Man, he really went to work. Yeah. Not even a joke. Like, I hope for the safety of the women and the children involved there. For my story today, we will go to Palm Coast, Florida, where a man is behind bars after deputies say he was found with his pants down outside a Taco Bell and with a live fish in his backpack. Just before 1 a.m. on Wednesday, employees at the State Road Taco Bell reported a man behaving suspiciously near a side door of the restaurant. When deputies with the Flagler County Sheriff's Office arrived, 28-year-old Brandon Irizarry was still outside the business with his pants dropped, thinking outside the bun. He quickly began covering himself when law enforcement approached. After his arrest, deputies said they discovered a live betta fish in a plastic container inside his backpack. The fish was turned over to the Flagler County Humane Society. Staff says it is doing well and has named the fish Baja Blast. We have many questions, the agency said. We do not have answers. Which, boy, if that ain't a tagline for What Is Wrong With You, we have many questions. We do not have answers. Look, I've been pretty excited about a 1 a.m. Taco Bell run before, but not that kind of excited. Not that kind of excited. I have been very eager to get my order. If you go to the local Taco Bell, I'm pretty sure you can ask for the Dan Lucero and they'll give you my order. 2 spiced potato soft tacos, a loaded potato beef griller, and a chicken quesadilla. That is the Dan Lucero. That's the go-to at Taco Bell.
I don't really have a go-to. I try to mix it up.
I respect that.
I get the cheesy roll-up, though. That's my go-to. I always get that in addition.
Interesting. Are you a big like taco sauce guy? Like the mild sauce or anything like that?
So I try to. I've learned my lessons. I try to do their chicken or steak. Now I've learned I've learned a lesson with the beef. Does not like Spencer.
I can only say I'm built different because I have had no problem with Taco Bell beef over the years. People will say stuff like that. Well, Taco Bell, we'll get ready to, may as well just eat that while sitting on the toilet. Well, have you considered that I am built different? Have you considered that I might have an iron stomach? Have you considered that I could eat 3 of those loaded beef potato grillers in a sitting and be totally fine? Because those are really good. That was a tremendous addition the Taco Bell menu. Man, they really had something with that one. Man, they've got
3 minutes of advertising.
They've got 7 things in their kitchen, and I would love to be like on the cooking staff at a Taco Bell, just trying to think of different ways I could incorporate the 7 things in a Taco Bell kitchen: tortillas, beef, lettuce, potatoes, sour cream, beans, and cheese. How can I put those 7 things together? How many layers can I get in this burrito? I know we have the 5-layer burrito. Do I hear
7?
Do I hear 7? How many layers? Anyway, that's got to win today.
Yeah, I came in your office earlier. I had a different story in mind, but I also, when I went to go pick out a story, I didn't even see Dan's story yet. And that was my story, so it wins.
So do we think that he just has the fish just like around?
Potentially.
Like, just he carries the fish around like it's his pet? Do we think maybe he went and bought it? Did he win it at a fair?
I don't know, man.
Can you do that? You still like win a fish? Or like is that a prize to give out? Like you win the ring toss game, you get a fish. Like I have to know what where the fish came from, and I am hopeful for a happy and healthy future for Baja Blast, the fish. That's our winner on What Is Wrong With You. When we come back, what a weekend for Shawnee County High School sports. We'll celebrate our champions next on 580 Sports Talk. Here come the Sooners. They're through 7 in Atlanta. Oklahoma scores twice in the 7th to cut their deficit in half. Georgia Tech 7, Oklahoma 5. One of those two teams is 6 outs from the Super Regional. If it is Georgia Tech, they will host Kansas. If it is Oklahoma able to complete the comeback, they will come to Hoglund Ballpark this coming weekend. Boy, wouldn't just be KU hosts a Super. It would be KU hosts a Super against a Big 8 rival. Like, could you script it any better?
Yeah.
Gosh, man, You thought Arkansas traveled, and they might travel better than Oklahoma, but like Oklahoma fans know the way to Lawrence. they made that trip for many, many years. Texter from the 785 regarding our championship winning What Is Wrong With You story. This worked at Taco Bell in high school. We came up with all kinds of new stuff in the kitchen. Also, to this day, there's stuff I will not eat at Taco Bell because I've seen how it's made. I get that.
Yeah.
This is my working in a kitchen at a fast food or even just any kind of restaurant. You want to develop an aversion to food, that is how you do it. Whether it's an ingredient, whether it's a meal, whatever. You want to develop an aversion to a food, work in a fast food kitchen. You know why I don't eat pickles? Because I used to work at Jason's Deli. And every day at Jason's Deli, we had to dump an industrial grade bucket of pickles into the sink to strain it. Basically, you sit in the brine and you dump it out, and all the pickles sit in the bowl. And then you'd have to wrap them up into these little bags, and it smelled like pickles. There was nothing else you could smell in the whole back room but pickles. And I haven't eaten one since, and I won't.
Yeah.
So that's where that comes from for me. Anyway, appreciate the text. 785-272-9429 is the text line. Number that is 785-272-9429. The high school sports season is over after the championships were completed for the spring sports on Saturday. And it was a great Saturday for Shawnee County. Wanted to make sure that we recognized all of our local state champions appropriately. We'll start on the diamond. We had 4 teams from Shawnee County play in state baseball championship games, which is a remarkable feat considering we had 9 schools that field baseball teams.
Yeah.
And 4 of them played for state championships. Washburn Rural gets it done in ESPN Sports Center top 10 worthy fashion. A game-winning play at the plate to secure their first state championship in 74 years with a 4-3 win over Free State. Big shout out to Jay Maston, the staff over there at Washburn Rural. Consistent contender. I had not realized it had been almost 3/4 of a century since the last time Rural hoisted a state baseball championship, but the Junior Blues get it done. They had outstanding pitching all season long, and they beat Free State in the title game. Shawnee Heights, Hayden, and Silver Lake all ended up with second-place trophies. Heights losing the 5A game to Aquinas, Hayden losing in 4A to Mulvane, and Silver Lake falling to Girard in the 3A state championship game. Girard's pitcher that day, an Arkansas commit. If you're in Class 3A, you got a kid going to the SEC,
yeah,
pretty big advantage on championship day.
Yep.
No doubt about that. On the softball diamond, Silver Lake concludes one of the greatest years for girls sports I would got to imagine in the history of Shawnee County. They win the 3A softball title, their 14th in program history, first since 2018, a 4-0 win over Southeast of Saline, and a girls sports sweep. Volleyball, basketball, softball, Silver Lake won them all. Kaylin Haney, Kylie Haney, and Paige Hyman played for all 3 of those teams. And then after they won softball, Kaylin Haney jumped on the turnpike, went down to Wichita, and placed 3rd in the javelin in Class 3A.
That's an athlete.
That is an all-time Shawnee County athlete, Kaylin Haney. I know Rick Peterson's got his list of the best Shawnee County athletes of all time. Whenever we revisit that list, and I hope Pistol gets to revisit it for a very, very long time, and one day maybe he'll ask for my help. He won't need it, but maybe he'll ask. And boy, Kaylin Haney, we're gonna have to make a place for her, no doubt about it. Obviously, headed off to continue basketball at Fort Hays State, but what a prep career in all sports Kaylin Haney had. So congrats to Silver Lake softball, a state champion. Hayden soccer, undefeated, 21-0 in a low event sport where there's just not as many scoring chances, not as many scoring plays. One bad bounce, one carom off of your own team into the wrong net, and you can lose to anybody on a given day. To go undefeated in soccer is incredible. And Hayden pulled off the feat, 21-0. They beat Rose Hill in the 4A state championship game on Saturday. Carson Brockstrom in the game-winning goal in the second half. They had to play that game indoors. The weather was so bad in Wichita on Saturday, they moved the game to the indoor field at the Stryker Sports Complex, which I can't imagine was ideal for anybody, but
You got to play. You got to get the games in.
Yeah, both teams playing on it, right? And Hayden finds the way to win. And it was a tremendous year, obviously, for their girls' sports, too, because they were state runners-up in volleyball and won the girls' basketball championship in Class 4A. A lot of players double duty. Off the top of my head, Lauren Bourgeon, Haley Schmidtline, obviously. A couple players winning 2 state titles this year at Hayden. Congratulations to those girls. 3 individual champions from the county in state track. Christian Hartman Babb of Washburn Rural, the fastest young man in Kansas. 10.59 seconds in the 100 meters to win gold in that event. That was the best time across all classes in Kansas. Missed taking the double in the 200 by 0.003 of a second. That is big time speed for Christian Hartman Babb. Tough break in the 200, but he can say he is the fastest runner, the fastest high school runner in Kansas for 2026. Brady Anderson takes home a state championship from Seaman in the 800 meters, capping off a remarkable career. 1 minute, 52.08 seconds in the 800 after runner-up finishes in the 1600 and 3200. So a tremendous state tournament for Brady Anderson. And Landon Lewis, the sophomore from Rossville, we remember his name from the football and the basketball seasons. Terrific athlete, state champion in the javelin, 181 feet and 9 inches, his state championship winning throw. Congrats to everyone who won a state championship, who played for a state championship, who competed at state track, state golf, state swimming. All of the Shawnee County athletes represented the county, represented their schools so well over the final week of the high school season. We'll take a timeout, come back, and wrap up this hour of 580 Sports Talk next. .456 on 580 Sports Talk. They're in the top of the 8th in Atlanta. Georgia Tech 7, Oklahoma 5. Oklahoma is the home team, so they get last up. Georgia Tech batting with 2 out, nobody on. If the Yellow Jackets win, the number 2 national seed will host Kansas for the Super Regional. And Georgia Tech is really good. Their 8-hole hitter has a slugging percentage of .859.
Wow.
Is that any good? I feel like that's pretty good. Also, his dad was Scott Brocious.
Oh.
Yeah, I think. I think that's right. Yeah, it can really hit. How about that?
I'll tell you what, we got an 0-2 count here with 2 outs. So
yeah,
they could put them down 1-2-3.
And hopefully that Oklahoma pitching staff can hold firm, because if Oklahoma wins, they're coming to the Hog. And man, if you thought a regional was hype at the Hog,
against Arkansas,
a super regional against Oklahoma, and that would go absolutely crazy. We'll keep track of it in the final half hour of 580 Sports Talk. We are short by half an hour due to Royals baseball today. So we'll come back. We got our 580 Sports Talk headlines. So much to get to from the weekend. Look at the Men's College World Series, Women's College World Series, the Winner's Circle, Playoff Roundup, and then a final word to wrap things up. Stay with us. One more half hour of 580 Sports Talk coming up. Well, let's get it. Final half hour of this Monday edition of 580 Sports Talk on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis with you again until the bottom of the hour, 5:30. Royals Baseball Network will take it from there. Game 1 of 4 in Cincinnati between the Reds and the Kansas City Royals. Royals are happy it's June because May was a mess. Royals have lost 16 of 19 going into this series in Cincinnati. First pitch at 6:10. Oklahoma has pulled to within a run of Georgia Tech. Little nubber out in front of the mound with runners at first and third, and the Georgia Tech pitcher couldn't get the ball out of his glove. So everybody's safe. The tying run is at second base. The go-ahead run for the Sooners is at first with one out in the bottom of the eighth in the Atlanta Regional. If the Sooners pull off the upset, then the Super Regional between Oklahoma and Kansas will be here in Lawrence. If Georgia Tech holds on, KU travels to Atlanta for a Super Regional against the number 2 national seed. Already seen the number 1 national seed bite the dust. Could number 2 be fun? Georgia Tech going to the bullpen with one out, 2 on in the bottom of the eighth. Again, Oklahoma, not the actual home team, but they are the home team in this game. The NCAA has really arcane rules about who gets to be the home team and how that all works. And frankly, I don't feel like explaining it to you because it makes me confused. But
it's going to be so weird if Oklahoma walks off Georgia Tech
in their own ballpark. Yeah, that would be.
I'm not the Georgia Tech manager, but I think they left their starter out there too long.
That wasn't their starter. That was their number 2 guy. Their starter didn't only pitch 1 inning.
Okay,
they went to the second guy, and he had pitched from the second inning on into the eighth, and
he hit 100 though pitches.
100 pitches, yeah. Well, I mean, God, what the Arkansas kid had the other night? There's
112,
131.
No, I think it was 115, but he had 14 Ks.
Yeah, he was big time. He was really good. Just not as good as the KU bats in the end of the day. Anyway, so we've got a short rest of the program today before we hand it off to Royals baseball again. Luinder Avila gets the start for Kansas City. He'll be on a pitch count, went 60 pitches in his last relief outing. So imagine that about the limit, 65, 75 for Avila in this one. Reds forced into a bullpen game because scheduled starter Chase Burns is sick. So reliever Lyon Richardson will take the ball. That's Lyon, Lyon Richardson. The lineup for the Royals does not feature Salvador Perez, which is a rarity. Carter Jensen back in the leadoff spot will catch. Bobby Witt Jr.'s at short, Vinny Pasquantino's at first. Jack Caglione DHs and bats cleanup. Then Isaac Collins in left, bats fifth. Lane Thomas is in right field. Michael Massey at second base. He homered yesterday. He bats seventh. Nick Lofton in at third base. Second straight game out of the lineup for Michael Garcia. And Kyle Isbell batting ninth in center field. For the Reds, Blake Dunn leads off in center. Red Hot J.J. Blade is in left field. Sal Stewart is at third base. Eugenio Suarez, I'll get it all out, is the DH batting cleanup. Nathaniel Lowe is at first base. Spencer Steer at right. Tyler Stevenson will catch and bat seventh. Edwin Arroyo makes his major league debut at second base, batting eighth, called up to replace the injured Ellie Dela Cruz, who hit the IL today. Matt McClain is the shortstop, batting ninth. 6:10, first pitch, and 5:30 pregame coverage right here on 580 WIBW FM 104.9. So with a shortened final half hour here, we got to sprint into the headlines, and let's start with the two big NFL trades today. We knew or had a pretty good feeling that the A.J. Brown trade was going to be finalized today, and after an offseason of drama, that deal did get done. The Philadelphia Eagles traded Brown to the New England Patriots for a 2027 fifth-round pick and a 2028 first-round pick. So A.J. Brown, the 29-year-old star receiver, goes to the Patriots, joins Romeo Doubs, who was signed this offseason in the revamped New England wide receiver room. That trade we saw coming. This one we did not. The Cleveland Browns sending Myles Garrett, future Hall of Famer, two-time Defensive Player of the Year, and an all-time great edge rusher, traded to the Los Angeles Rams for Jared Verse, 2-time Pro Bowl edge rusher, a first-round pick next year, a second-round pick in 2028, and a third-round pick in 2029. The A.J. Brown trade, I feel like we've already talked about it because we've been expecting it all off season. Obviously, New England needed a number one wide receiver. They let Stephon Diggs go. They go and they get their guy in Brown, who was not good last year, but some of that probably he was in an offense he hated, playing with a quarterback he didn't seem to really get along with. I think he's probably in for a renaissance with Drake May. The Myles Garrett trade out of nowhere, the Rams very clearly in go-for-it mode. And I think on paper, they are probably as clear a Super Bowl favorite. And again, I don't have like the historic Vegas numbers on this, but they are probably as clear a Super Bowl favorite entering a season as we have had, I would say, since the Chiefs defended their title 3 years ago.
Yeah, I would say so. Funny aside here. My girlfriend, Olivia, Browns fan. Noted Browns fan.
Still?
I saw it.
Even after all this?
I saw it pop up, but hadn't gotten an ESPN notification, so I knew she hadn't gotten one. So I had a couple seconds, so I FaceTimed her, and I said, hey, she was literally about to go in a store.
Are you sitting down?
I was like, and then I told her, and she said, sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Listen.
So, like, that's something the Browns would do.
They're going to start Deshaun Watson at quarterback, and they traded Myles Garrett. I actually think Cleveland ends up okay in the trade. Like, the draft capital, I think, is solid. Jared Verse is a great player.
Yeah.
Like, he's not Myles Garrett, but he's really good. I'd rather have Verse and a first than 2 firsts, frankly. And then, second and the third are nice, too. So, I actually think the Browns come out okay in the deal. If you want to hear what Matt Verderame, NFL Insider, had to say about those trades, catch the podcast at 580WIBW.com, 580 Sports Talk on Spotify, or just rewind the video on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Had some other NFL news today. A former Chief moving on, Spencer.
Yes, this guy we talked about actually on the show last week. We talked that the Chiefs could potentially sign this guy going into training camp to be a vet presence for them, a mature presence in the locker room, and a guy that could catch the balls when needed, but that likely won't happen. The Giants have signed former Chiefs wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster in an array of signings they made today at the wide receiver position, also reuniting with the catch, Beckham Jr., as it appears Blake Neighbors most likely going to miss a ton of time with an knee injury.
So apparently there's video of him running the bases at a charity softball game that makes it look like he's not real close to being recovered.
Yeah, not good. Not a good look.
No, not real promising if you're the Giants and you're having to scramble to sign Juju and the corpse of Odell Beckham Jr. and Braxton Berrios.
Still living on the fact that he made a one-handed catch in like 2012.
It happened before, and I said this, so if you were listening in the 3 o'clock hour, you're hearing this twice, and I apologize. But like, this is the way to frame it in a way that scrambles my brain. The OBJ catch happened before Donald Trump announced his first presidential campaign.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how long ago that was.
I think I was still in high school.
I had not yet come to Topeka. I remember watching that on my couch in not Topeka, Kansas, in Sterling, Colorado, to be more precise about it. Let's get you updated on the NCAA baseball regionals. Oklahoma lined into a double play to end the eighth. Terrible base running. But so they play in the top of the ninth inning. Oklahoma just recorded the first out of the top of the ninth. Georgia Tech leads Oklahoma 7-6. If the Yellow Jackets get the final 3 outs, the number 2 national seed will host Kansas for super regional play this coming weekend. If Oklahoma rallies and wins, they will come to Lawrence for the super regional this coming weekend. That is one of 5 Game 7 matchups lined up today. Win or go home in the Auburn regional. The number 4 national seed Auburn plays Milwaukee. In the Gainesville regional, number 8 Florida plays Troy. In the College Station regional, number 12 Texas A&M faces USC. And in the Morgantown regional, number 16 West Virginia, after a stunning rally in their game last night to beat Kentucky, gets another crack at the Wildcats in a Game 7.
They are starting pitcher Max, I believe it's
Yell, yes.
who was
Big
the
12
Big 12
pitcher of the year, left
He-
with an injury
He
in the
left
opener.
with the shoulder injury on Saturday's game in the first inning, and people were really worried because they didn't get another report from him from head coach Steve Sabins.
He was ineffective and it left with an injury. I had not heard that, so that's really.
But yes, he will go tonight for West Virginia. Yeah. I think they're about, if they've already, should be already going.
Yeah, I think that one might be close to getting underway. Super regionals that are already set. Number 6, Texas will host number 11, Oregon. Number 3, Georgia will host number 14, Mississippi State. Number 7, Alabama will host St. John's, who took out Florida State in the Tallahassee regional earlier today. We also know, of course, that 15 seed Kansas is on to the Super Regional, as well as number 5 seed North Carolina. They'll host either Texas A&M or USC. Little Rock, a lot of Kansas connections on that Little Rock team. A lot of JUCO kids from Kansas, one kid from Gardner, one kid from Kingman on the Little Rock roster. They were a regional winner. They'll either go to Florida or Troy, whoever wins that Game 7 later tonight. Ole Miss won the Lincoln Regional. Nebraska, the 13 seed, crashing out. Ole Miss won that regional. They'll either go to Auburn or host Milwaukee. Cal Poly, the upset winner in the Westwood Regional, knocking out the number 1 seed. Actually, I say knocking out. Cal Poly never even had to play UCLA. They never had to play them. And UCLA eliminated the number 1 overall national seed. Cal Poly wins that regional. They'll either go to West Virginia or play Kentucky. Both teams will submit applications because they're both 3 seeds. They will apply, and the NCAA will choose who gets to host based on the bid that Super Regional. So that is your NCAA baseball regional update. Give me a quick softball update.
I will real quick. They're headed to the bottom of the 9th. 3 outs in the top of the 9th.
Yes. Georgia Tech leading 7-6 going to the bottom of the 9th. Thank you.
Women's College World Series. It was an interesting time over the weekend. You got I don't know exactly what they call this day. Is this like the semifinal/finals?
Elimination day, if you want. Yeah, it is basically the semifinal. So there are matchups. One team needs to win one team needs to win 2, and the one team that needed to win 2 won 2. Texas.
Yeah.
Texas beating Tennessee today twice, 5-2 and 4-0. So Texas, after losing their opener, the defending national champions are back into the championship finals. Will there be a championship series rematch? Texas Tech has to win 2 tonight. They play Alabama. Alabama is perfect. So Alabama needs. They've got 2 to win 1 tonight. The Crimson Tide against Nigel Kennedy and the Red Raiders.
9 Ks yesterday.
In a bunch of different outings because Jerry Glasgow couldn't decide what pitcher he wanted in at a given time.
That's the weirdest rule about softball.
Yes, but also it was not managed very well by Jerry Glasgow, in my opinion, on the subject. I thought that was real weird. But anyway, they're going to start at 6:00 out there at Devon Park in Oklahoma City. Again, Tech needs to win twice to force to advance and set up a rematch. It would be a rematch in the championship series against Texas. To the winner's circle we go. Congratulations to Johnson County Baseball. First-time national champions completing an all-time season. 67-3 as they capture the JUCO Division I National Championship in Grand Junction, Colorado. The Cavaliers bring home the first national title in program history.
They already displayed their banner today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they had like a celebration in the gym, I guess.
Very cool.
I saw it on one of the Kansas City sports reporters on TV.
That's awesome.
They already debuted the banner.
I think they've got at least 20 guys committed to D1 schools for next year. So
which, I mean, I guess if you're going to do if you're a JUCO school, you're going to honor the team, you kind of got to honor them right away.
Yeah.
Because most of the JUCO right away.
Most of those guys are not going to see Johnson County ever again. But no, congratulations to the Cavaliers. Elsewhere, Denny Hamlin, a winner at Nashville in the Cup Series, his second win of the year, part of a 1-2-3 finish for Joe Gibbs Racing. 62 career wins for Hamlin. He's now one shy of the late Kyle Busch for 9th all-time in Cup Series history. And the PGA Tour, Russell Henley wins in a playoff over Eric Cole at Colonial in Fort Worth. to snag the Byron Nelson Classic and the plaid jacket, his 6th career PGA Tour win. They give a plaid jacket for that. So Henley's last 2 wins were a plaid jacket, and then he won the Arnold Palmer last year, and they give you a red cardigan for that one.
He's adding to his wardrobe.
Adding to his wardrobe, yeah. I'm sure he'd like a green jacket at some point, but maybe they let you keep the plaid. You get the green one, you got to keep it at the club. Rules are rules. Also,
you can check it out then.
Yes, you can. Also, from the weekend, Paris Saint-Germain wins their 2nd consecutive Champions League final in soccer. They defeat Arsenal on penalty kicks in the final. I know a lot of Arsenal fans. I don't know if you know too many Arsenal fans. I know a lot of people who are Arsenal.
I don't. The only thing I really know about soccer is that Lionel Messi is in the KC area, and he got woken up in the middle of the night with storms like we all did.
And superstars, they're just like us. No, tough little run for the Kroenke family this year. I guess it's not too bad. Arsenal did win the Premier League. They're not like, and the Avalanche won the President's Trophy, and the Nuggets had a good season, and the Rams made the NFC Championship game. But
the Rams just made the biggest trade in the NFL.
Probably good to be a Kroenke, all things considered. But disappointment for the Kroenke Sports and Entertainment folks as Arsenal loses the Champions League final. Quick playoff roundup time. Let's go.
It's time for the 580 Sports Talk Playoff Roundup.
So we're all set for the finals and the final, because they call it the Stanley Cup final, and that will begin first tomorrow night as the Carolina Hurricanes take on the Vegas Golden Knights. Not quite an all Sun Belt championship, but certainly another warm weather Southern United States, you could say, championship in the NHL. Carolina aiming for their 2nd Stanley Cup. So too are the Golden Knights. Hurricanes dispatched Montreal in 5 games. They are 12-1 in the postseason and enter the Cup final as favorites. That starts tomorrow. The NBA Finals, party like it's 1999. It's the Spurs and the Knicks. A rematch of the 1999 NBA Finals. The Spurs rallied from 3-2 down to defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 7 of the championship of the Western Conference Finals, and I enjoyed that immensely. And what Spencer Dupuis just enjoyed, if you're watching on video, Oklahoma has tied it, and the winning run is in scoring position in the 9th inning of Game 7 of the Atlanta Regional. The number 2 seed, Georgia Tech, is on the ropes. Oklahoma is 180 feet away from pulling off the upset and making for a very fun weekend ahead in Lawrence. Check that. They had the graphic wrong. The winning run is at first with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. Georgia Tech and Oklahoma tied at 7. That's on ESPNU if you would like to watch. I didn't get to get all my hate out on the Oklahoma City Thunder, but God, enjoy it. I'm so glad they lost.
Yeah, Brendan and I were talking about this last week as they were going into the game. It was Game 6. And I was like, as much as I want the Spurs to win this, I thought the Thunder were going to win. And
I did too.
We went into Game 7, and we talked about it on Friday, and I was like, I think the Spurs are going to win.
The Spurs won because Chet Holmgren is the biggest melt in the history of sport. Get wrecked, you big dork. I'm so glad they lost. Ethical Hoops, a win for Ethical Hoops. We'll take a break. Final word is next. Time for the final word as we wrap things up early prior to Royals baseball in Cincinnati tonight. Spencer Dupuis, what you got?
Whether we get a Lawrence Super Regional or not, that's up to the baseball gods here. Tie ball game, 2 outs, 1 on top 9. It was a great experience out at Hoglund Ballpark over the weekend. And as I say this, it's runners on first and third.
Winning run 90 feet away for the Sooners.
Yes. I've never been to an NCAA like tournament game for anything, I don't think. I went to a soccer game, I called it in college, but so I had to commemorate it. So I bought this hat. It said 40 on the label. I only paid 33, so that's a win.
Look at that. Came away with a souvenir. Final word for me today as this Royals season gets further and further away from salvaging. I don't think that Matt Quatraro's job is salvageable any further. This is a team with an obvious leadership deficit, a team that does not know how to respond when things go wrong, a team full of front runners, a team that cannot rebound when there is adversity, and that falls squarely at the manager's door. And when you combine that with the numerous now, and I think 3 counts as numerous moments of dissent, of frustration being aired by players publicly over lack of communication or improper communication, then that paints a not very flattering picture of the way things are going right now in that Royals clubhouse. And the time is now for a change. Will not salvage the season. It may be the first of many changes. Hitting coach, general manager. It could be wholesale changes for the Royals. They look like a team and an organization that is in dire need. You're going to extra innings in Atlanta. You'll have to watch the rest because we're done for the day. For Spencer Dupuis, I'm Dan Lucero. This has been 580 Sports Talk. Royals baseball's next. We're back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Until then, good night.